Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Data Analytics with Career Guidance course. So today we are in day 3 of SQL Server class. So in today's topic, I'll tell you how we can import the data from different applications, that is different data source, and then we'll see how we can write select queries. Let me minimize this. And we'll open. See, when you're installing this SQL Server, we'll have two folders here. One is the new version. It might be SQL Server 2022. So I have this 2019. You just see in your system. Here we'll have something called as SQL Server, the version name, then import and export. Click on this. When I click on this, I'll get one window like this, that is wizard, where I can import the data. I'll click on next. It asks for the data source. So what is data source? From where we are actually getting the data. Let me click on these options. And now let's assume that I'm getting the data from Microsoft Excel. I'm selecting this Microsoft Excel. It asks for the path. Let's go here. Let me take some data. Let's say I'll take this data, copy this. Let me put it in our folder. Okay. So I'll be sending this data to you so that you can use the same data. I will take the path. Let me take the path. Oops. Okay. Select this data. Now let's say open. Now the path is set. Say next. And here it asks for destination. It says choose destination. I will say SQL Server native client 11.0. So this is my server actually. So I'm selecting this. So once I select this, it asks for the database. In the previous session, we created one database. Let's go and see what is that. So we created this, say, database DE underscore July 2023. So this is our database. I'm just selecting this database. So once I select this, I'll say next. It asks for copy data from one or more tables or views. Say next. It asks for all the tables which is available in the Excel file. I'll select this one sheet. Actually, this is a separate sheet. So for us, this will be the different table now. Say next. And then select this run immediately and say finish. When I say finish, you can see that all the rows have been imported. 9,994 rows got transferred. I'll say close. Now the data has been imported. Now let's open this Management Studio. Let's go here. We have this Management Studio here. I'll open this. We'll have to have the data what we just imported. Let's connect this. Right. Now let's select this database. And here we have our database, that is DB underscore DA underscore July 2023. Click on this plus mark. We'll just try to expand and see if the data has been imported. Click on this table. Here you can see the table has been imported. Now just click here and see all the columns, whatever is there, the fields you can see here from that particular table. Automatically, by default, it will take the data types. If you want, you can change that. but I'll keep it as is by default because we just have imported the data. But likewise, we can import the data from various different data source. Depending on which data source we have the data, we can import to the database which we have created, right? Okay, this is importing of the data. It's very simple. Just go select the data source and then import it to your SQL server. The next one is we need to write the queries. Let me open a notepad so that all the queries, whatever we create here, I'll just copy that and I'll send it to you. To write the queries, you have to go here, say, I'll click on this new query. Now today, we'll concentrate on the select queries. So we are trying to get the data, extract the data from the table what we have imported. Now for that, we are using this select command. So how to use this select command is what we'll be understanding. First, what I'll do, let me enable the database. So for that, I'll say use db underscore. Okay. First, I will execute this so that I'm enabling my database. Okay. All right. Now, I have a table called as orders in my db underscore da underscore July 2023 database. I want to get all the data from orders. So here I have the query, that is command select. Assume that I want to get all the data from select all the data from the orders table. Select star from table name. Select star from table name. The table name is orders. And select. This is the query which will help me in getting the data, all the data. The star is nothing but it's a wild card. It will get all the data, that is all the columns, all the rows. Let me select this and I'll click on this execute. You can see I'll get all the data from orders table. Right. So the star represent for me all the columns. Whatever you see here, all the columns. Now, let me say enter. I want only specific columns. For example, I have so many columns here. So in this, I want only few columns. I don't want all the columns. I just want only few columns. So what I'll do, I'll say select. Okay. For writing the query, see how I'll do. I'll type this select and say enter and I'll use tab. So that we'll get some space here and I'll know that select and all the columns I'll mention here. So what are the columns I need? Let's say I want order ID. Okay. Just select this orders dot order ID. This table name is not compulsory, but you can have it. But when we have multiple tables, when you come to this joins, this table name is compulsory. So I can also give only this order ID as well. Now you just see, again, I'll type, say I wanted this order ID. I'm not getting that list. So what we'll do something like this from orders. Okay. Select from orders. Here, what I'll do, I will try to get, see now, when I'm actually mentioning the table name here, I'll get the column names also here. So either you do like this, select, then type the table name, then you say dot, I'll get all the column names. I can go here, I can select like this, or what you'll do, select from, I'll say table name, and here I'll say order ID like this. So anything is okay. So I want to select few columns, say order ID. Then I want order date. Then let's say I want region column, then state column, comma, I want sales and say profit. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Totally 6 column I need. I just selected these 6 columns here. And here you can see I typed the columns one below the other in next line. Some people, what they do, they'll take everything in the same line like this. Let me show you that as well. So we can write the queries in this manner as well. Select order date, order ID, order date, region, then state, sales, profit from orders. Okay. Some people actually write the queries like this as well. Let me remove all the space here. I'm just telling you different way what people actually write the queries. Okay. Then from. So in both the ways, we can actually write the queries. There is nothing wrong this way as well as this way. But I prefer this way because I will know what all columns have been taken, what all columns we are extracting. But if you go here, it is something like a paragraph or a statement, which will be very difficult for us to go and check like this. SQL will allow the queries to be written in one single column or in multiple columns. But I prefer like this because it is like very structured. It is easy for me to go and check the queries. But if you write like this also, it is fine. But if you write like this, it will become difficult for us to go and, read this. But the same queries, we can actually take it to, let's say we are writing some VBA program and we have to take this code, take this SQL query and you have to add there in the code. Then it is fine. Go and put that in one single line because there we are not checking anything. Just we are running the macro or any other programming language. But when you're actually using these queries in SQL, try to use, this, try to practice like this. This is a good practice. But again, it's not compulsory that you have to practice like this. I practice like this. Whatever way you feel comfortable, use that. But if you use like this, it is very easy to check. Okay, I'll remove this. I'll be using in this format only. You see how better you can actually use the queries. Now let me select this. I will click on this execute or press F5. See, I'm getting these columns here. So only those columns which I have mentioned here, only those columns will be available here. So this is how we can start, our queries. So first we selected star, that is all the columns. Then we selected few columns, that is whatever columns I need. I'm just selecting only those columns. All right. Now we filtered the columns. What if I want to filter the data? Let me copy the same query and I'll paste it. Now let's say I want to filter the data. So we know that we filtered the columns here, only those columns it is required. Now here, what I'll do is after this, select columns from orders. We'll mention where clause. Where is something like a criteria where we are applying the criteria. Select column names from the table name where, let's say, I want a region equals east. Single quote or double quote will do, but usually in SQL we use this single quote. I'll say region equals east. This where clause should come after this from table name so that whatever columns I'm mentioning with the criteria, that will be filtered. Let me select this. See, I just selected the query and I'm executing this. You can see now I'm getting only east data. In region, I'm getting only east data. Right, let me copy this. Let's say my requirement is I need to get the region east as well as west. Both I need. Now what I'll do, I'll go here. I want one more region here. I'll say enter, and I have to mention OR operator. What is OR? It can be either east or it can be either west. Region is equal to west. Let me select this and I'll say execute. See now I have this west as well as east, both. So likewise, we can filter the data. Okay, right. What if I want even south as well? Then what I'll do, I'll go here, I will select same query, and here I'll say OR region equals south. Now I will select this query and I will run this. You can see I'm getting south, east, and west. So this is for region. We selected all the three regions here. Let's take the state here. Let me also open the Excel file. I'll just open the Excel file so that we have all the names to filter. It will become easy for us to filter. Let's go back. The same thing let's do for state. We have almost 49 unique states. So what I'll do, now I'll try to filter the data by using state. Now what we did is by using region. Now let me remove this. I'll take state equals, let's say, New York. Select the query, execute it. You can see that the data is filtered by New York. I want one more state to be filtered. What I'll do, let me copy this. I'm just choosing all different queries so that it will be easy for you to practice. I could have updated the same queries, but what happens is, you might not get these queries. I'll just copy and paste and keep working on new queries. Or state equals, let's say, California. Select and I'll say execute. See, I'm getting California along with that New York. Imagine if I'm keep doing like this for getting multiple states or say multiple regions here, I'm using this OR operator multiple times. Instead of this, if you feel that I need more, entities or say this criteria to be given. So what I'll do, instead of this OR operator, if it is like 1 or 2 or 3, somehow we can manage with OR operator like this. But what if I have, multiple criteria to be filled? I mean, to filter, don't use this state equals or say, the column equal, the field equals. Don't do that. You can use something called as in operator. In. So what this in will do, it will take multiple criteria. For example, I'll take the same thing, New York. Next, California. Let me close the bracket and then I will execute this. See, I'm getting the same result. So in this case, this query and this query both are same. Now, what if I want to filter one more state? So in this case, I have to go here and say or state like this. The query keeps going like this. Instead, what I can do here, let me see what state we have. I will take this Texas, comma, Texas. Select and click on execute. Here we'll get California, Texas, and New York. One more state you want, comma. Let me take, okay, let me take this. See? Select, execute. See, we'll get all the 4 states. So likewise, we can use this in operator if you think that there are multiple criteria to be filtered. So this is select query. Now what we did is for filtering the data, that is as a text, filtering text. Right. Now let's see how we can use the same queries for filtering numbers. When I say numbers, there are so many operators. So what are operators? That is comparison operators. Like what we use this equals. This is, we're trying to compare state equals New York. Similarly, for number, we have equals, not equals, greater than, less than, greater than or equals to, less than or equals to. So let's go here. We'll try to filter the data by numbers. Let me select this. And we'll go here. Say, where sales, okay, is greater than 5,000. Just observe, I'm mentioning this as greater than 5,000. Let me select this. And if I execute this, I'll get the data here. You can see I'm getting what 19 rows. You can see in the right hand side below, it shows how many rows it has been filtered. All the data which is above 5,000 will be filtered. Right? Okay. Now, let me select this. I want all the data which is greater than or equals to 5,000. So what is the difference between greater than 5,000 and greater than or equals to 5,000? In this case, 5,000, if the sales value is 5,000, it will not be considered because the criteria is greater than 5,000. But when I say greater than or equals to, even 5,000 is also included. Now, let me select and I'll execute this. I don't think there is any value which is 5,000. So it is giving me as 19 rows only. But if at all we have the value 5,000, then it will be included in this case. All right. So let me copy this. And here, paste. I want sales, which is less than 100. Select, execute. You can see there are 6,226 rows. That means you can see here all the values which are sales, which are less than 100 will be filtered. Right. Let me select this. Less than or equals to. In this case, even 100 is also included. Execute it. It's giving me almost same rows. Okay, see, there were 3 rows, 6,226 rows, which is less than 100. But I selected here. Then I'm executing it. Here I'm getting 6,229 rows. That means there are 3 rows which shows 100. Let's check that as well. Copy this, paste it. Here I'll mention it as equals. So equals means exactly equals to 100. Let's go and see. In this case, there should be 3 rows here, 3 records. All right, so let me copy this. And then I'll paste it. I want not equals to, put one exclamatory, select, see, all the values which are not equals to 100. So totally there are 9,994 records. In that I'm saying not equals to 100. That means there were 3 records. So 9,994 minus 3, I should get 9,991 records. So my query is perfect. Right. Now let's write one more query. If you see, we have this negative numbers here in profit. My query is I want to get all the values where the profit is greater than 0. I'm not interested in any negative values. Let me select and I'll say execute. I'm getting 8,058 record. That means all the negative values from this profit column has been filtered. Now in this, I want to know which are all the records where the sales is greater than 1,000. In this case, I need to use AND operator. Profit is greater than 0 and sales is greater than 1,000. Let me select this query and I'll execute. You can see 384 records are profit above 0 and sales above 1,000. So like this, we have to start developing the SQL skills. These columns are same, whatever I've used from year till year, but the where clause, I'm keep changing it so that, see, for text, I use this equals or in operator. Then for multiple filters, I use this OR operator. See here, I'm using this OR operator within the column itself. Within the column, I'm trying to get the value. But when I'm using this multiple columns, then I'm using this AND operator. All right, so we understood how actually we can use this for number. That is greater than, less than, or whatever operators we have. What if I want to filter the data for a range? Say, for example, I want to filter all the data of sales from 1,000 to 2,000. Now, in that case, let me select this query. Okay. Now here I'll say where. This where clause should come after I select the columns from the table name and then where clause. Where sales, okay, is greater than or equals to 1,000. And sales is less than or equals to 2,000. So in this case, I'm using this AND operator because I'm specifying a range 1,000 to 2,000. It should be 1,000 to 2,000. Now, if I execute this, you can see I'm getting 328 rows. That is all the sales value which are greater than or equals to 1,000 and less than or equal to 2,000 will be filtered here. The same thing we can do like this. Sales between 1,000 and 2,000. Let me delete this. See, I'm saying sales between 1,000 and 2,000. Let me select this. Number of rows we have 328. I will execute. See, now also I'm getting this 328. So I can use either this query, that is the conditions, or I can use in this way. Right? Okay. So we understood how to filter text columns, number columns. Now we'll see how we can filter date columns. I'll take the same query and paste it. Let's take the column that is where order date. Okay. So we can give the same operators what we used for numbers. Say we used equals, not equals to, less than, greater than, between, everything can be used here. We'll mention that, but here the date should be within single quote. I want the data to be filtered like this, say 1st Jan 2017. Order date equals 1st Jan 2017. Let me see if we have the data here. Execute. No, it's not there. Let me check. Select. Yes. So 1st Jan 2017 was not there, so it was not filtering. So I have this 1st Jan 2018. We have 10 records. Some people actually mention something like this, say 1/1/2018. Run this. See, this is also fine. But usually why I mention this as like this, I'll tell you the reason. We might get confused sometimes. See, I'll say 12/1/2008. Now we just observe, for us now it is a confusion whether this is December 1st, 2018 or 12th January 2018. So it is very confusing actually. Let me execute this. Now I'm getting this data here. So this one is actually December 1st, 2018. Why? Because we have this date in the format of MMDDYY. But what if there are some system changes? Some dates have been changed, the date format have been changed, then it will be difficult for us to go. You have to check that and you have to format it, or say in that format we have to give. Instead, what I'll do is say first, or say we can say 12 Jan 2018. So this will be specifically for 12th Jan. Let me select, I'll say execute. You can see 12th Jan, we have only 4 records. Now let me change this to 1st December 2018. See, I have 34 records. So the previous query, whatever we had mentioned, that 12/1/2018, this is December 1st, 2018. So to avoid these confusions, I'm not telling this is wrong, it is left to you. So to make things more easy, what I'll do is I'll use like this, so that I don't have to bother whether it is January, February, March, or whatever. If the date is about 12, then we don't have any problem because we'll have only 12 months. But any dates before, the months that is 1 to 12, and the date is also falling from 1 to 12, then there will be a confusion. Right? Okay. Now, same thing, does not equals also work here. I'll go here. I'll say does not equal. So if I execute these queries, we have 34 records here in December 1st, 2018. Now, if I execute this, 9,994 minus 34 will give me the number of records here. That is 9,960 records. Let me select this. Greater than 2018 December 1st. Let me select this, execute. You can see I have 428 records. That is, which is greater than December 1st, 2008. What if I want to include December 1st as well? Then I'll say greater than or equals to. Now let me select this and I'll say execute. See, 462 records. That is, we had 34 records on December 1st, 2018. See here, 428 records are there, plus 34 records, 462. 62. Right. Next. Less than. When I say less than, that is all the records less than December 1st, 2018. Let's say execute. So we have 9,532 records. Less than or equals to. That means this December 1st is also included. Select, execute. See? All right. Let me copy this. I want the date between 1st December 2018 up to 31st December 2018. So greater than or equals to 1st December 2018. Let me copy this. And less than or equal to 31st December 2018. Let me select this and execute this. We have 462 records. 462 records. Let me copy the same query. I'll go here and I'll mention between. Between 1st December 2018 and we'll take this date. I'll delete this. See, between 1st December 2018 and 31st December 2018. 462 records are there. I'll just go here, select this, execute. See, I'm getting same results. So if you just go and check all the queries, it is very simple. I learned about how to extract all the columns, the data, all the columns. Then we saw how to actually filter only few columns, selecting only few columns. Then we started learning about where class, which will help me in filtering the data. So here I try to filter the text columns. Then we saw this in operator, or operator. Then we saw this numbers, how actually we can filter by using these comparison operators. Similarly, we saw this data. Now, let's assume that how actually we can work this on projects. Okay. So most of the people actually will get confused. So they'll keep practicing all say, one column, the filtering one column or two columns. Let me tell you how actually the queries will be developed. Let me have all these columns. Okay, so this is my query. If I go here, I will select this and I'll execute this. I'm getting all the columns with all the records. I need to filter now. Let's say I want in East region. Okay, in East region, in the year, okay, in the year 2018, which are all the sales which are above 1,000. My query is in region in the year 2018, which are all the sales which is above 1,000. Now, one by one, we'll have to write the query, see the criteria. First, we'll put this where. Where clause only once you have to put. Where. The first criteria is region. Region equals East. The first criteria. The second criteria is in the year 2018. And the order date between, say, 1st Jan 2018 between and say 31st December 2018. There are more other ways what we can actually do that, but still we don't know so many functions. So whatever knowledge we have, we are using with that knowledge only to filter the data. And the sales value. Sales is greater than 1,000. This is how we'll develop the SQL query. See where I want region is equals to East. Then I want the date between 1st Jan 2018 to December 2018. Now what I'll do, I'll go here. I will select and then say execute. If I execute this, we'll go and check one by one. Here we have this region East. And here you can see the order date, all are 2018. The sales value is above 1000. So likewise, we can actually start developing the queries. Suppose if you want to add some more queries here, you can go and you can add. Say, for example, now I want this sales to be from, do we have negative numbers here? Okay, this also will add one more query. We'll say, and profit is greater than 0, because I don't want the negative value. I'll say profit is greater than 0. How many records I have? 42 records I have. In that, few negative values are there. I'll go here, select, and then execute it. See, 31 records are there. That means all the negative values have been removed. So this is how one by one. So whenever you get a, the requirement, what you do is just try to go, take the queries, read the questions, and try to filter based on whatever questions they have given, whatever requirement they have given. One by one, we can actually use this like this. So this is how we can actually develop the queries. Right. So this is about the select queries. Next, we have so many other classes like this. Group by class, order by class. So there are so many classes. So what I'll do is one by one, we'll try to learn. So today we learned about how to import the data. Then we learned about how we can use this where class. In that we saw how actually we can filter the text, number, and date. In that we saw the operators, that is and or. Then also we saw this between, and also we saw this in operators. So these queries I'll be sending it to you. That is, I'll put this in the app so that you guys can actually go through all these queries, practice this. So today you just practice these basic queries. So next sessions, we'll be having more advanced queries. That is, I'll be teaching you about order by, group by, then again having. So still there are so many things what you can learn in this queries. That is, we learn about the functions used here, like what we have these functions in Excel. Similarly, we have functions here as well for doing the calculations or extracting the data. Okay, so those things we'll learn in our next sessions. Okay, all right. So I'll stop here. And now I want 1 minute of yours and tell me how was today's session. So quickly, I want all of you to tell how was today's session. All right. So thank you so much, people. I guess there are, many people who actually are starting their SQL, learning SQL now. So let's learn from basics so that you guys will actually understand the concept of SQL completely. Okay. All right. Now, the questions. I want all of you, if you have any questions, please mention the question. I will answer that. Okay. So Zamir is asking a question saying that whatever data we fetch from query, how to extract in Excel. So for this, we don't have anything like that. So what you do is we have to copy this and we can paste it. First of all, what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to extract this so that we can do the analysis here. Otherwise, we can do the query, you can do the filters in Excel itself. Suppose if you still think that you want to do that, so you can do here, you can copy the data, okay, like this, and you can paste it. So now I'll just copy this data, go to this Excel, and we'll paste it like this. You can get the data like this. Otherwise, also there are so many options which we can do. But for us, let's concentrate on more on queries. Okay. Santosh is asking, what is the difference between VBA coding and SQL coding? VBA coding, that is actually programming, where we can control the applications, that is MS Office applications, that is Visual Basic for applications. Now, we have this SQL that is for extracting data from database. So VBA is actually written in applications, that is Excel, Word, PowerPoint, or Access. But this SQL code is actually the queries like what we have written here. These are the queries to extract data from database. Right? Okay. So Mohan Babu is asking, show me how to import the data once again. Okay, sure. Mohan, I'll show you. Before that, I have one more question. That is Zamir is asking, how to get it import in Power BI. So this in Power BI, we can connect SQL Server. I'll show you. Let me finish few of the queries sessions. Then I'll show you how to connect it in the Power BI. Don't worry. I'll show that. All right. So Mohan, to tell you how to import the data, let me go here. See, I will select. I'll go here. See, I have this Microsoft SQL Server Tools 2018. I think if you have installed a new application, that is new exe file, then it will be Tools 19. Okay, let's go here. We'll select this. Sorry, this one SQL Server 2019. For you, it will be 2022 if I'm not wrong. Or if you have the older version, it will be 2019. So if you've installed the new version, then it is 2022. Okay, here I have this SQL Server 2019 import and export. Let me click on this. I'll get this wizard. So in this wizard, I'll say next. Then here it asks for the data source. Let me select here. If I scroll down, here I have this Microsoft Excel. So if you are getting the data from Access, you can select here. So you can select the data source here from where you are trying to import the data. For me, I'm taking the data from Excel. I'm selecting this Excel. Then I'll browse this. So I'll go to that folder where I have the data. I'll select this. In this case, I'm actually selecting this, the Excel data file where I have all the data which is required for this class, selecting. And then I'll say next. It'll ask the destination. We'll go here and I'll say take this SQL Server native 11.0. Here it'll ask for the database. I'll go here. Here I have so many database. I'm selecting the database which we are actually using. And then I'll say next. Here I'll say copy data from one or more tables. Say next, it'll show me all the tables here. Let me go select here one of the tables. This already I've imported. I'll select one more table here. Say next, and it'll ask for run immediately and say finish. So this will, in this case, I have only 4 records here. Say close. Now if I go to this database, let me refresh this once. Here I have these tables. See, I get this table here. Okay, Mohan. Got it, Mohan? Okay. Right. So any other questions? All right. So people, if you don't have any questions, I will close this session. So Monday, we will learn about more, concepts in the SQL queries. That is, we learn about order by, then we learn about group by, then again, we'll go for calculations. Then we'll see some functions. Okay, slowly we'll increase the complexity of these queries. That is, we'll work on more complex queries. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, people. Have a great day and happy weekend.